Hi, I'm going to present to you the 44 phonemes in English, as well as sample words for each phoneme and an explanation of key relevant terms. Not all linguists agree on how many phonemes there are in the English language, somewhere between 40 to 48 phonemes, but for this video I will be presenting the most agreed upon number of 44 phonemes. The task of learning phonemes, as well as having an organizational scheme, is important for several reasons. First, by knowing the way sounds are organized in place and manner of articulation, I can accurately model and explicitly teach these blendable sounds to my students to help them become successful with decoding or reading and encoding or spelling. This knowledge enables me to effectively teach phonological awareness and phonetics as part of my literacy instruction. Second, an organizational scheme helps facilitate memory and recall so students are able to more easily access the correct sound spelling correspondences or phoneme-grapheme relationships when reading and writing. Finally, a scheme is important because it provides categories and features that can help one discern which sounds are similar and which are dissimilar. Teaching students to discriminate between sounds can help them to become accurate spellers. For my organizational scheme, I'm going to begin with the consonants, since they are more important than vowels in the English language. The consonants are organized by the manner of articulation, starting with the stops, then progressing through the nasals, fricatives, affricates, glides, and ending with the liquids. Within the manners of articulation, the sounds are then organized by the 7 places of articulation: bilabial, labiodental, interdental, alveolar, palatal, velar, or glottal. I will explain what these terms mean when we get to them. The unvoiced sounds will be presented first, followed by the voiced sounds. Then I will present the vowel sounds, which are organized according to the vowel valley. I'll begin with the sounds where the tongue is high and in the front of the mouth, or the front smiley vowel sounds. Progress to the tongue low and in the middle of the mouth, or the low open vowel sounds, and end with the tongue high and in the back of the mouth with rounded lips, or the back rounded vowel sounds. Then I will move to the schwa, diphthong, and R-controlled vowels. Again, I will define these terms when we get to them. I'm going to begin with the consonant sounds. Most of the consonant sounds are obstruents, meaning that they are produced by disrupting the airflow through various combinations of vocal articulator movements. The obstructed airflow can come from interruption, stopping it, turbulence, friction, or a combination of these things. Consonant sounds can be either voiced or unvoiced. I'm going to present the 25 consonant sounds based on their place and manner of articulation. I will begin with the 6 stop consonant sounds. A stop sound is produced by completely stopping airflow and there is no release of pressure. Stop sounds cannot be held out or elongated without distortion. Some stop sounds are considered plosive, which is when air builds up pressure in the oral cavity and then is released after a stop. Most stop sounds can be produced either way. The 6 consonant stop sounds can be voiced or unvoiced. The unvoiced sounds will be listed first within each place of articulation, as they are easier to blend. There are 2 bilabial stop consonants, p and b. A bilabial sound is one which is produced by bringing both lips together. P is an unvoiced bilabial stop consonant. Unvoiced or voiceless sounds are produced without vocal fold vibration because air moves past still vocal folds. When I say p, I do not feel any vibrations in my throat. The sound for P is P, as in the beginning of pig and the end of mop. B is a voiced bilabial stop consonant. Voiced sounds are produced with vocal fold vibration. When I say a voiced sound, I feel a vibration in my throat. This vibration makes the sound more audible. The sound for B is B, as in the beginning of best or the end of web. T and D are both alveolar stop consonants. Alveolar sounds are produced by touching the tongue to the ridge behind the teeth. T is an unvoiced alveolar stop sound. The sound for T is T, as in the beginning of top and the end of rat. D is a voiced alveolar stop sound. The sound for D is D, as in the beginning of dog and the end of mud. There are two velar stop consonant sounds, K and G. Velar sounds are produced by pulling the back of the tongue back to the soft palate or velum. K is an unvoiced velar stop sound. The sound for C and K is K, as in the beginning of cat and kite and the end of back. Next, I will move on to the three nasal phonemes. Nasal sounds are produced when air is shut off from coming out of the mouth and comes out of the nasal cavity instead. There are three places of articulation, and all nasals are voiced. Nasals are also sonorants, which are speech sounds that are usually voiced and are produced with an airflow that is neither interrupted nor turbulent. Is a voiced bilabial nasal consonant. The sound for M is as in the beginning of map and the end of ham. N is a voiced alveolar nasal consonant. The sound for N is N, as in the beginning of nurse and the end of ran. Ing is a voiced velar nasal consonant. The sound for NG and the N before K in words like sink is ng, as in the end of thing or before the K in think. We do not find this phoneme at the beginning of words in English. Next, I will move to the 9 fricative sounds, which are sounds created with some friction. They are produced by forcing air through a constricted space, causing turbulent airflow. This is also known as partial obstruction. There are 9 fricative consonant sounds. They can be either voiced or voiceless. There are 5 places of articulation. F and V are both labiodental fricative sounds. Labiodental sounds are produced by touching the bottom lip to the upper teeth. F is an unvoiced labiodental fricative. The sound for F and PH is F, as in the beginning of frog and phone and the end of cliff and graph. V is a voiced labiodental fricative. The sound for V is V, as in the beginning of Valentine and the end of love. There are 2 interdental fricatives, F and V. Interdental sounds are produced by placing the tongue between the teeth. F is an unvoiced interdental fricative. The sound for the unvoiced TH is F, as in the beginning of think and the end of math. The sound for the voiced TH is V, as in the beginning of this and at the end of breathe. There are 2 alveolar fricatives, the unvoiced S and the voiced Z. The sound for the unvoiced S is S, as in the beginning of step and the end of yes. The sound for Z and the voiced S is Z, as in the beginning of zoo and the end of buzz and as. There are 2 palatal fricatives, the sh and zh sounds. A palatal sound is produced by pulling the tongue to the hard palate and rounding the lips. Sh is an unvoiced palatal fricative. The sound for sh is sh, as in the beginning of sheep and the end of wish. Zh is a voiced palatal fricative. We usually spell the sound for zh with an S, as there is no unique spelling for that phoneme in English orthography. We hear the zh sound in the middle of vision. The final fricative phoneme is the unvoiced glottal h. A glottal sound is produced in the back of the throat or at the glottis, with the tongue down and the throat open. The sound for H is h, as in the beginning of house. We do not find the h sound at the end of words in English. Next, I will move on to the 2 affricate sounds, which are a combination of stops plus fricatives. Affricates begin as a stop, actually a plosive, characterized by complete obstruction of the outgoing airstream by the articulators, with a buildup of air pressure in the mouth, and release as a fricative. There are 2 affricate sounds. Both are palatal and differ only in voicing. The ch sound is an unvoiced palatal affricate. The sound for ch and tch is ch, as in the beginning of chip and the end of much and switch. The j sound is a voiced palatal affricate. The sound for J and DGE is j, as in the beginning of jam and the end of edge. Next are the three glide sounds, also known as semivowels. A glide is produced when the tongue approaches a point of articulation within the mouth, but does not come close enough to obstruct or constrict the flow of air enough to create turbulence. The body of the tongue is raised. The glide happens as the sound moves into the sound that follows. There are two places of articulation for glides, and the sounds are both voiced and unvoiced. The sound yi is a voiced palatal glide. The sound for y, and sometimes combined with u, is yi, as in the beginning of yes and unicorn, or the middle of music. The w and woo sounds are both velar glides. The w sound is an unvoiced velar glide. The sound for wh is w, as in the beginning of where. The woo sound is a voiced velar glide. The sound for w is woo, as in the beginning of water. Glides are never the last sound in an English word. The final consonant sounds are liquids. Liquids are produced when the tongue approaches a point of articulation within the mouth, but does not come close enough to obstruct or constrict the flow of air enough to create turbulence. The tongue is raised and the sounds float in the mouth. The liquids have no clear beginning or end point in articulation. There are two liquids, ul and r, and are both voiced. Ul is a voiced alveolar liquid. The sound for L is ul, as in the beginning of little and the end of full. R is a voiced palatal liquid. The sound for R is r, as in the beginning of rabbit and the end of her. Next, I will move to the 13 vowel phonemes. All vowels are sonorants, which I defined in the nasal consonant section, and they are all voiced. Vowel sounds are all continuous and are made with no obstruction of air. There are several ways to classify vowels, but here I will discuss the most common ways. Tense vowels are made when the mouth muscles are tighter or more tense. They are also known as long vowels, where they say their letter name, although this is a misnomer, as long does not refer to their production length. Lax vowels are made when the mouth muscles are looser or more relaxed. These are also called short vowels, also a misnomer. All lax vowels are monophthongs, which means that they only have one sound. As a reminder, the sounds in the vowel valley move from production where the tongue is high and in the front of the mouth to where the tongue is low and in the middle of the mouth, and end where the tongue is high and in the back of the mouth. I will then follow with the schwa, the two diphthong sounds, and end with the three R-controlled vowel sounds. The schwa is an unstressed or indistinct mid-central vowel sound. Diphthongs are vowel sounds in which two different sounds glide together so quickly that we can't separate them. R-controlled vowels occur when the letter R follows a vowel and creates a combination of sounds that can't be separated, where the R controls the vowel. R-controlled vowels are neither tense nor lax. Here are the vowel valley phonemes, plus the extras I just referred to. E as in see, I as in sit, A as in make, E as in pet, A as in cat, I as in time, A as in fox, A as in saw, as in cup, O as in vote, as in took, U as in moo, U as in music. The schwa sound, like we hear in the beginning of about, can be represented by any vowel. The diphthong, oi, can be spelled oy as in toy or oi as in soil. The letters OW make two sounds. the diphthong ow at the end of how, and o at the end of snow. The letters OU make the diphthong ow, as in the beginning of out. The first R-controlled vowel sound is usually spelled with ER, IR, and UR, as in the end of the word later and in the middle of the words first in nurse. The next R-controlled vowel sound is R, spelled AR, as in the end of the word car. Finally, there is OR, spelled OR, as in the beginning of organ, or spelled OU, as in your.